We knew it was coming. Today on the Engine 25 YouTube channel, we're talking about Jurassic Park 3. The definitely the weakest of the four Jurassic films that we have so far. Jurassic Park 3 came out in 2001. I was about to go into the sixth grade, if memory serves. This one I know for a fact I saw opening day with my older brother. Came out in the middle of the summer, and we went to the first showing that afternoon. When I was a kid, I liked this movie quite a bit. And, it's more dinosaurs. And then I found myself watching it less and less as I grew up, until I feel like the last time I watched Jurassic Park 3 was probably in high school. And I've watched the first two movies several times since then. So it had been a while. It's time for a refresh. Oh God, it's it's really bad. And I even knew, like, getting as years went on and moving through high school, is the reason I stopped watching it is because I knew that it wasn't very good. And now coming back to it with fresh eyes, having seen very recently the first two movies again, after Jurassic World, uh, the Jurassic kind of the Jurassic franchise is kind of back in the public eye, and it's a little bit different now. But oh God, Jurassic Park 3. let's actually let's actually talk about the movie, shall we? I'm not going to start off by just hating on it. I think there are definitely a couple of good things about this movie. Most notably, I still really like Alessandro Nivola's character, Billy. He's kind of, I guess he's a grad student or something. He's a pupil and friend of Dr. Alan Grant. He's, I wouldn't say there are a lot of jokes in this movie, but he's the air of lightness, I guess. He comes in as a new character in this movie, and he's really optimistic, and he's excited to go to this place, and um, he's he makes some mistakes, but he does it for the right reasons. Um, Unfortunately, everyone, including Alan Grant, kind of is just sort of a dick to him, and that is a thing about it. Like, revisiting it, it was kind of jarring to me. Like, I have this, and I'm sure others do too, this view of in my head of Alan Grant as this, like, adventure sort of hero guy, like, he's obviously plucked out of his environment in the first movie and put into, like, a stressful situation, but he kind of takes over, and he's a good role model for these children. Um, and in this movie, he tries to take control of the situation, absolutely, but he's really cynical and bitter and just generally kind of angry the whole time. And I really like Sam Neill, and it's it's kind of it's honestly kind of jarring, and it wasn't exactly the way I remembered it, even knowing that I wasn't a fan of this movie for a while now. But it really stuck out to me now that I've come back with fresh eyes after some time. Not like, I don't know. He's still really smart. He's still a paleontologist, and um, he's just it's not the same character from the first movie for sure. And that's kind of, that might echo some thoughts that some people had about the Last Jedi. Um, we're not going to talk about Star Wars, but it's just that's fresh in my head, and it kind of reminded me of that. Um, Other characters in this movie are just downright friggin' dumb. This that's just all it is. everyone is just really dumb. You can't. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot of other ways to say it. Like, and um, I like William H Macy, and Tay Leone's been in some great movies. It's the characters in this movie are not only not very interesting, they're not very smart. They do a lot of very unintelligent things, um, and it's just what happened. What happened was they had made a bunch of money on the first two movies, and this franchise machine had to churn out another movie, and we got Jurassic Park 3 out of it. Spielberg does not return. Uh, he's handpicked Joe Johnston, who up until this point had directed a few things, like he had directed Jumanji. That's just one that sticks out in my head right now. And then he he had a background in special effects for quite some time, and he has since then directed Captain America: The First Avenger, which is a perfectly fine movie. I would say the Captain America movies. I would say it's probably the weakest of the Captain America movies, but it's fine. Like I would not say it's the worst of the Marvel movies for sure. But this does not prove. This Jurassic Park 3 certainly doesn't prove that he's as talented a director as I think he is. Like, and generally, he has a really, because he his special effect background, he has a really good eye and a really good understanding of how to use special effects of various types. And on that note, we get to where the movie is the biggest disappointing thing about Jurassic Park 3 is the dinosaurs. And that's something that both the first two movies got right with flying colors. But the animatronics in this movie are like awkward and mechanical, and they just it's awful. They feel like robots. And even the CGI, like the animation in the first two movies was smooth and natural, and like for example, the raptors, like they feel like kind of birds, and they bob their heads around, and they sniff stuff. And with this one, everything is very mechanical and to the point, and it's like every shot there's like they're trying to show you a specific thing, as opposed to like showing an animal just being an animal. And for example, during like the plane attack, when the Spinosaurus tears the plane apart, the animatronics and CGI are intercut in really awkward ways, and it's really well lit, which isn't great for CGI even at this point in time in 2001. And it's the raptors. They try to do this cool thing with the raptors where they can like communicate, which makes sense to a degree. You know that dolphins and whales can communicate, chimpanzees can communicate with each other, but in the movie it's staged in it's very conversational, which is weird. We obviously can't hear what they're saying, but it's you got two dinosaurs, and one dinosaur looks at the other dinosaur and squawks, and the other one squawks, and then they squawk, and then they look like it's like they're literally saying, "Hey, you want to attack these people? Yeah, I want to attack these people. Okay, let's attack these people." It's they're having a conversation when it should just be like a coordination sort of, and I don't know, it's not all bad. I absolutely believe that they could be smart enough to stage an ambush. Orcas are known to do that. They coordinate swimming to create a wave to knock prey off of small ice flows and things like that. So the scene in this movie where the raptors trap the Udesky guy and lead the humans to him to try to catch other ones, sure, that makes enough sense. But it's the way that the raptors communicates really hand-fisted and feels really unnatural. It's all in all that Jurassic Park 3 is where the franchise lost respect for its humans and its dinosaurs. And even certainly in the first couple of movies, the humans made some mistakes. That's absolutely true. But they weren't just around to be eaten for the most part, and half the cast in this movie. There's only 7 or 8 main characters, and 3 of them are dead almost immediately as soon as we land on the island. The movie is really it's awkwardly paced compared to the first 2 movies, which I guess isn't necessarily a problem, but it takes away from the wonderment that Jurassic Park used to represent. As soon as they land on the island, they're running, and they're running for the next 75 minutes. So, like, in theory, that could be a really exciting sort of chase movie, but it's the animals are distracting and the humans aren't very smart, and it's just really frustrating, considering how much I love the first movie and how much I still enjoy The Lost World. So, it is what it is, and there are a couple of moments of like levity where Alan Grant is talking to the kid on the boat. I think his name's Eric. He's played by Trevor Morgan. Talking about Billy, who, spoiler alert, had just been apparently eaten or gored by pteranodons, and he kind of flows downstream. And that's the only time where we feel like Dr. Grant cares about other people in the movie. And they try to hit this big emotional beat, and they try to throw some philosophy into it, but because it's the only time in the entire movie, it doesn't really work. It's almost like it was a rewrite, and they did some reshoots because they realized that they had to throw this in, which may or may not be the case, but that's what it feels like to me. So unfortunately, Jurassic Park 3 is largely a failure, and the things that work are few and far between, and they're surrounded by a lot of really distracting special effects. So that's how I feel about Jurassic Park 3. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you agree or disagree, feel free to fill in the comments. Thanks very much for watching the Engine 25 YouTube channel. I will have one more video with from the Jurassic Park 4K anniversary collection about Jurassic World. Should have that up by Friday, and then my review for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom should be up later this weekend. So on that note, I hope everybody gets to enjoy Fallen Kingdom, and have a great night, guys. If you like this, like, share, subscribe, click on all the things. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.